What's up YouTube? In today's video I wanted to try something a little different and just share a bit of my journey to becoming a web designer. So in this video I'll cover what worked and didn't work for me, and while this is different for everyone, I wanted to take this time and answer some common questions I get through messages and just take this time to share my story. So going into college I didn't know what I wanted to do for a career, and I signed up for public relations, which was just a lot of writing. And while I enjoyed it, halfway into it I realized this isn't what I want to do full time. And I felt by that point it was really just too late to switch majors, so I started taking different electives to find what interests me. And one of them I took was a graphic design class, and I really liked it, so I took another graphic design class, and then I took a web design and development class, and then another development class. And that's where I really fell in love with the idea of working in the design field full-time one day. And really the class wasn't anything super advanced. We were using Photoshop, of all things, to design our websites, and then we were just coding them with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But that's when I fell in love with the idea of working as a designer, so I started my freelance career about a year and a half before I was to graduate. And I realized while working in college and also trying to freelance on the side, it was really difficult to find clients. So I definitely empathize with everyone who's just starting off and they're having a tough time finding clients. I tried pretty much everything you could think of. I tried posting on social media a lot. I tried calling different businesses up, emailing them, and none of that really seemed to work. And it was kind of this thing where people wanted to see examples of my work, but I didn't have any examples to show them because no one would let me actually do work for them. So I started doing something that a lot of people in our industry don't recommend, and that was just doing some free work. And it wasn't like people were coming to me and asking, hey, can you do this project for free? I was looking for either friends or relatives that I knew that had small businesses that couldn't afford like a website, and I'd offer to do that work for them. And what I found is they were really appreciative. They were easy to work with clients because they didn't have any money invested into the project. And then also it gave me a real problem to solve for. And if I'm going to spend that time anyway, why not spend that time helping someone, doing a project that's going to help someone, as opposed to doing just a spec project that isn't really going to be for anything other than my portfolio. So, I mean, that's definitely where you're at in life. It totally depends if that's the right fit for you, but I think pretty much everyone knows someone who owns a small business, someone close that you know, and that you could maybe offer to do some work for. You'll be surprised most of the time I find they do say yes. And really that's where all these good projects started coming from, is different relationships that I built when I started building trust, had examples, really learned from each project. And my idea for each project, even once I got my first paid project, which I think was like $500, which is nothing for the amount of time I put into it. It was super cheap. But I got that first project and I really decided I wasn't going to try and be super profitable. I wasn't going to worry too much about the time I spent in it, but I was going to put everything I had into making the best project I could possibly make, and really just improving my skills through it. And that's what helped me gain other projects later on down the road. But at the time I was using Adobe Muse, which was really terrible. The only reason I used it is because I liked that you could drag things all around and like have complete control over the design, and I also needed something where the client could update it later on without having to pay me to do the updates. So there were a few clients, not many, that I took on that knew how to update code. They were okay with me coding the site from scratch, but oftentimes I either had to use Adobe Muse or like a WordPress theme and just customize it a little bit, which both of those I found were super limiting. So I asked my professor right before I finished the web design class, is there any alternative to just like anything where I could code the site from scratch myself, but the client could easily update it with some sort of CMS? And she's like, unless you're looking at using like PHP or something and learning WordPress and how to build out these themes, there's really no good option out there. So I was kind of stuck using what I had. And then I was watching a YouTube video one day, and I saw someone was creating a tutorial on how to use this thing called Webflow. And my mind, it just instantly blew up. I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is exactly what I've been looking for. And so that night I went ahead and watched all of Webflow's University's 101 crash course. And I finished it all in a night, and it started clicking and making sense, and really having that knowledge of code helps. So I get asked this a lot: do you need to know code to be able to use Webflow? And the answer is no. I think like Webflow University courses cover everything you would need to know about code to be able to use it. They're super helpful, but having that little bit of code knowledge helps. I'll also say that using Webflow helped me understand code even better. Seeing it visually just made it all come to life and make a lot more sense too. So if you're just starting out, you don't know code yet, don't worry, just start using the platform. And the best way to learn really is by taking on some real projects that you can it'll be a struggle at first. You'll have to struggle through it, and it may take a little longer than expected, so just plan for that. But that real life experience is really invaluable for really learning the platform. But that's when I really fell in love with the platform. I started using it, I think, maybe a year before I graduated, and started building out some different client sites with it, took on some projects, and I realized like this is an awesome tool. So once I graduated, I started looking for a job, and I found this agency that was hiring. I went ahead and applied, and I put on my application that I knew Webflow. And I think that was one of the key things that helped me get in the door. So at the time, my work was not great design work-wise, definitely room for improvements for sure. And it's still today, there's always room for improvements. But I felt like sort of an imposter by not having that design degree or design background. So that's something I had to overcome and just kind of work through that. But having that on my application, I think actually helped get me in the door, because they said, we've been looking to learn this platform. No one at our company knows how to use it. We're building all our sites in WordPress right now. And while it's a great platform, it can get a little expensive for some of the clients that come to us, and we think Webflow would be a great solution for some of our sites. So I started implementing the first Webflow site pretty early on after I was hired, and then from there started really introducing Webflow into the agency. And we found it's like an amazing tool for agency work too. So we use it for a lot of our projects now, use Webflow. And that's been I've been at the agency for a year and a half so far. And it's been amazing just working there, and what I learned being able to bring Webflow to the agency helped them, but also just working along these other designers that have design backgrounds that were able to coach me, were very generous with their time. That really helps me so much, tremendously. I think early on I had this idea that I knew you should design your site first, really invest in the design, and then I grabbed Webflow. And I was like, oh, I can just design right in Webflow. And then the quality really dropped down of my sites while I was freelancing for a while. And then as soon as I got onto the agency, they started showing me these different prototyping tools like XD, and showing me the value of even just charging the client separately for the design phase of the site before you even get into development, and giving me pointers on how to make the design better. And that really helped. That experience was invaluable for really improving the quality of my work. So just having that was amazing, and those people were really kind, like the designers I work with, to mentor me and help me improve my skill level. So I've been working with Webflow now for, I guess, almost 3 years now, and it's really changed the way I work. I'd highly recommend it to anyone who's in the web design field. It's helped me improve my prices, being able to work faster, being more profitable, but also being able to bring crazy ideas to life. It's been really amazing. So that's a bit of my journey in the design field. What I'm doing today is still working for the agency, doing a little bit of freelance work on the side. It's actually gotten to the point now where I have so much client work backed up that I can't take it all on. So I have these projects that I'm just referring to my friends, other web designers that I know, and I'm saying like, hey, here's a pretty large project. I don't have availability to take it on right now, but I'm able to pass that on to other designers, and it's been really a huge blessing. But none of that would have happened if it wasn't for just grabbing this tool early on. I think was like such a game changer for my career, just grabbing onto Webflow, learning it, and I would highly encourage anyone else who's started using it just to keep going, persevere, stick with it. I didn't take any extra courses. That's not to say that those aren't helpful. Like, you should definitely, that could help speed things up, but more than anything, just going through those 101 university courses and then taking on real projects was the biggest game changer for me. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Definitely feel free to subscribe. Let me know how you used Webflow, how you found out about Webflow in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye.